retired in 2000 after my last fight, and I was out of the sport for 10 years. I mean, my story is probably more unique than most, because you get other people who, maybe even they're not huge names, they come into the media from other areas, but it's usually straight after they retired. Within a year, they're doing stuff on Sky or BT or The Zone or whatever it may be at the time. And I was out of the sport. I was doing security for X Factor and Britain's Got Talent. I ran a pub for a while. There's no job I haven't done, by the way.
Was that a choice for you to leave boxing?
Survival.
Like some people had a choice. Was a choice for them, or wasn't a choice?
No,
Yes. Welcome to the 13th and final round podcast.
And today, is very special. Is that a friend?
A very special guest.
Yes.
We have, for me, the voice of the Zone commentary, Barry Jones in the house. This is going to be good, people.
Yep.
This is going to be good. Barry, thank you for coming to our apartment.
No, it's apartment. It's not.
Trying to lock it in.
Come on, it's not hotel.
And we've had to think outside the box, but we're here. First time we talked to Barry was at a press conference.
Yeah.
I didn't take my wife. I took a friend because she was sick. He didn't know how to turn the microphones and the light on, and it didn't work out. But I'm glad because we're here now. So Barry, we want to talk about you because you're always talking about everyone else and doing such a good job.
So are you guys. You've been grafting, haven't you, this week?
Listen, we're trying.
We don't sleep, man. We work. When we came out last night, these two was on the job, just downloading, uploading, editing. Yeah, editing, doing all sorts. Me, I was sat there got my feet up, you know what I mean?
Because he doesn't know.
I'm the driver.
So I want to tell the viewers that I'm glad they came here, but we almost got arrested because they took me to
They
were trying to get their key in someone else's door.
Yeah.
You can hear the woman next door going, get away!
That was a good start to the day.
I didn't know. I thought, what's she doing? She's got headphones on the floor. So trying to key in the phone.
And then he even got me involved and says that you try, and I'm like, we're on the wrong floor here. But anyway, moving on.
Made it. We're here now.
Barry, first of all, I want to start doing it the right way. First of all, we've watched you for about 30 years now, up close, fly on the wall. We appreciate everything you're doing for the sport, you've done for the sport, and going to do for the sport.
It's selfish.
I understand that, but you're blessing a lot of people. Finding people what have got your work ethic, that are passionate about the sport, that actually, I can see when you're working, it don't even look like you don't feel like you're working. You put all your heart and soul into it.
You enjoy it.
All right, you enjoy what you do, and it comes across.
I do, because I'm lucky. I think most people who do my job usually my jobs are for the two big names.
Yeah.
When they retire, they say Barry McGregor. Again, I take it for quite often. One of the greatest fighters we ever produced, the British and Ireland, and he walked straight into a media job because of who he was. So it's people like that usually. So people like me don't get a look in.
Right.
And I was lucky. And I mean, I retired in 2000 after my last fight, and and I was out of the sport for 10 years. I mean, my story is probably more unique than most, because you get other people who, maybe if they're not huge names, they come into the media from other areas, but it's usually straight after they retired. Within a year, they're doing stuff on Sky or BT or The Zone or whatever it may be at the time. And I was out of the sport. I was doing security for X Factor and Britain's Got Talent. I ran a pub for a while. You know, there's not a job I haven't done, by the way.
Wow.
Was that a choice for you to leave boxing?
Survival.
Like some people had was a choice for them, or wasn't a choice?
No, it wasn't my choice to. It wasn't my choice to retire, but I retired quite young, in my mid-20s, and just because I fell out of love with the sport. When I won the world title, I had a problem with my brain scan, and you know, and I sort of had things didn't work out the way I thought. Should have worked out.
Got a bit disillusioned.
Yeah, and it became about money. Yeah. And because I won the world title, I had a problem with my brain scan. I had 2 years out until I got my license back. But those 2 years, the money I could have earned on my contract, if I would have won 5 more fights or 4 more fights, which is still probably unlikely at world level, but maybe if I did, then I earn a lot of money. And I'm set up. Especially in the 90s, back in Canada, I could have bought half a Cardiff. But I mean, but it's, you know, I would have been okay. And saying it didn't become about the love, it became about those 2 years old, it became about the money. And then when I got my license back and continued to fight, then I was chasing the money, but that was never my intention. I mean, we wanted the money, but I never made it a focus. And I didn't like the sport, because then it was all about how much am I going to get, so I walked away. And you have to walk away completely. You can't, otherwise you come back. And I almost did come back about 41, but luckily I never. But yeah, so I did loads of other jobs, run pubs, and I made a living other ways, and then Box Nation. Yeah. That started up, and I somehow by accidentally didn't want to go on there. I sneaked onto Box Nation one day and as a guest, and they asked me to come back as a pundit, and then I just rolled on to be a regular. So
you like then I called you over and you said something, and then like what you said, and then
I just spoke about the night I won the world title, pretty much, but I remembered everyone who fought, everyone's results, what happened. I just remembered it vividly, and not just one myself, And he said, "You want to come back as a pundit?" I did that. I think it was Kevin Mitchell boxed in New York Hall. He was still with Warren at the time. And then they rolled on from there. Then I started doing some commentary, and they were using Paul Smith, who was up in Liverpool. I was probably cheaper because I lived in London, or Surrey, the London area. And so I was like 35 minutes from the studios, and Paul was. And they remember it was Bloodshed Channel at the time, especially at the start. So I was probably the cheaper option. Not that I stole anyone's job, or I was any better.
I know what you're saying. You put your work in, right?
And I was just close, and that was it. Then I got on the boxing hour with Steve Brunt every week, and we formed a partnership with Steve Lillis and others, and Alex Steeman and John Rawlin and everyone else who was involved, and and they were the best times of my life, I've got to be honest. Yeah, and things just rolled on from there. Really, it was so I was quite lucky, and then BT came involved, of course, and then that made it a bit of a bigger platform, and now I'm literally going for hire. I got a friend called Dave Rogers, who's a fantastic commentator in all sports, but he has a motto which I've stolen, and it's, if you have the money, I have the time, and that's why I work for everybody. If you've got the money, I have the time, and I think as a freelancer, and you guys know, you have to just work for whatever the work's available.
Exactly. We're interested to see where it goes ourselves, because we are like, how can I put this? Like,
start from the beginning, how we started out.
How we started. Yeah. So let's tell us how you started, because I think you'd be interested in it, right? So I'm basically a coach in the gym, doing really, really well in life. Pandemic comes, gets closed behind closed doors, and then Donovan opened a WhatsApp group. Which is still very active right now.
And it therapeutic practitioner, children's homes.
Oh wow!
And I also work in schools doing sports work.
You still do that now as well, don't you?
Still do it as well.
Yeah.
I work in schools actually. There's a thing called self-esteem through sport. Called SETS. Did for the
Ryan Rose does something like that as well.
And that the pandemic. It was before the pandemic. It was a recession. That sort of stopped all the funding. Actually, it was that was one of the most rewarding jobs. Difficult, but it was fantastic.
Yeah, very rewarding. But he was doing that, and I'm doing that. But then we're locked behind closed doors, and there's a WhatsApp group opened, and we started. Everyone was getting filed into there. Johnny Nelson, Josh Wont, all sorts of names.
Started the WhatsApp group.
Yeah.
I had one person.
Yeah.
And I tried to get 2 or 3 people. I know it's like, oh, nah, I'm not interested. They come on and they come off it.
Yeah.
After the pandemic, I thought we just started building. 290 people. Building.
So like every single day someone gets added in. So we'll tell you about who's just been added in yesterday. Yeah. Adam Smith, James Cook, Daily Perellas. So we just keep adding in. So when we control the group, there's a couple of characters in there that can drift it a certain way, but we have to watch over it, right? Yeah. But then through the pandemic, fighters started to come on crying. They started to come on saying, I'm struggling in life, I've got no money. He's passed away now. There's a guy you'll know, Eric Guy. So Eric come on, and he was struggling to pay his bills and just that and the other, and it allowed the fighters to get around him and said, we'll help you. You understand? So then we realised, and I'm looking at him. Funny enough, when I come out of boxing, when it didn't work out for me, I ended up, my wife started taking me to church and ended up going to Bible school and ended up becoming like a leader in the church, talking on a platform about, you can change your life, you know what I mean, if you've got a belief, right? So then I had that, and then he had his WhatsApp group, and then I had a friend called Warren, who's a sports chaplain, who sends Man United, Liverpool, all the big teams, he sends someone out before and start the game to talk to any of the players before they go out to perform. And I asked him some advice, and he put me on a course, so I had some experience how to deal with that type of stuff. I was confident anyway, but then we realised there's a voice here, and then we started getting DMs privately saying, I want to commit suicide, I don't want to live no more, from ex-fighters who couldn't talk to like soldiers, right? They come out, they don't want to, they can't really talk to the general public, so they want to talk to people that understand what they go through. Ian Napper's another good one. He won't mind us saying this. Ian Napper was an alcoholic and he was struggling, and we reached out and we worked with him, and now he's changed his life back around. And then we said to ourselves, we need to do a podcast, and then so we came up with the 13th and final round, as in the round after boxing,
it's important.
or when they're in boxing, dealing with a problem while they're in boxing.
Do you know what, the life that when you retire, whether forced or by your own choice, it's a difficult process. It is, and I tell people this, it's like I've never, like even now I think I never wanted to be famous. I'm not famous. I never wanted to be famous. It's never been a focus of mine. Actually, if anything, the thought of being famous doesn't alert me. We all have to know. I know
what you mean.
Everyone's different.
I mean, every now and again when someone says, "Oh, are you Barry Jones?" It never happens. I mean, it's lovely, and you go to the box show, someone's photo. It makes you feel good. But that every day, because I worked on shows like The X Factor, Britain's Got Talent, and I've seen people like Simon Cowell, who all that money he has, I wouldn't want his life. The man can't walk out the door without somebody doing. He can't pick his nose up. It's too invasive for me. So I wouldn't have wanted any part of that. So, but people calling your name when you fight, whether it's 5 people, 50,000, 500, whatever it is, that buzz is something that you can't replicate, you can't replace in your life, and that's the biggest problem with boxers when they retire. And we tend to think bigger names get more help when they're struggling because they're bigger stories, but there's fighters who had their 15 minutes, like myself, only your 15 minutes, and it's a struggle to not think that part of your life is over for good, especially when you're young. Because you just think, what am I going to do with your life now? And you panic because on paper, I don't think I'm that unintelligent, but I'm academically thick as shit. I mean, but on paper I couldn't do anything. I had no qualifications to do anything at all. There's those things you can do, but
he's just getting around to it.
But then when all your focus is just being about boxing, once I got to 14, I knew I was going to be a professional boxer. I knew what I wanted to be. How good I was going to be, who knew? But I knew that's what I wanted to do, which is a blessing and a curse, because it's a blessing because you have a focus, which is great, And if you make it to the very top and win loads of money and get everything you wanted, then it all works out great. If you don't, and I was lucky I got a world title, I just don't even get that far. And by the way, when it's like schoolboy boxers and youth boxers, we're all being told we're going to be the next best thing, because at that time we are all the next best thing. And you think you're going to make it, and sometimes you don't. But having that focus is a real plus. But also, you just ignore all the other stuff. You don't go to school anymore. You don't need qualification. You don't need a backup plan. I need a backup plan. Backup plans for cowards. It's not, but that's what you think.
I know what you're saying.
Full on. So then, boxing doesn't work. It's a struggle.
Yeah.
But economical reality hits home after 6 months, 2 years for me. Then I have to start making a living, because how am I going to live? And I did the worst thing possible. I had my last payday, and I moved away from Cardiff and moved to London. Why would I do that? Just to make sure I wasted all my money. And so it was there are adjustments there, but you have to, like everyone else in life, you have to crack on. It's just hard because you don't. There's no. I said to people before, it's like everything's an anticlimax to the rest of your life.
I know what you're saying.
I mean, for the rest of your life, it's like an anticlimax. I love what I do now, and it's the closest thing I can get to being a boxer. But that buzz, someone lifting you.
You can't explain it to people.
And the winner is, or ding ding, or or the nerves of you really shitting yourself as you're walking towards the ring. That's you look back now that with glee at the time was the worst thing. We look back and go, I wish I could get that again.
It's the testing you.
That tremendously. I'll tell you what, like almost erotic fear. You know what I mean? It is, isn't it? It's like you're just like, fucking, this is what this is all about.
You can't explain to anybody, even if you say it's like sex. It's not like sex.
It's like having a kid. It's like having kids. I was saying to people, you can't explain what it's like watching your child come out, watching your baby be born until you see. You can't explain. You can try to explain the feeling. You can't. There's no words for that feeling. I mean, for what it's like for a woman, it must be even more so. But I mean, for a bloke, just to see it, you can't explain it. You have to live it. And same with any sort of sport environment, whether it be an amateur pro. You're not going to be boxing in Wembley in front of 90,000 people. It could be an amateur fight in front of 50 people, but it's that euphoria of doing something that pushing yourself out there and risking your whole exposing yourself. It's something you can't replicate. So that adjustment of retirement, from boxing to retirement to the second stage of your life, phase of your life, if you will, is a big adjustment for everybody, and it's worse for boxers who made loads of money. Sorry, I'll tell you why it's worse for those, because they have the luxury of not having to find any structure to their life. You need structure to move on. So at the end, you have to get a job. I had to get a job. I had to make a living. So then obviously I have some sort of structure to my life, which gives me back some normality. But the guy who say Ricky Hatton, who struggled, there he goes, who publicly struggled. He had all the money in the world. He didn't need no structure. So he can just go to bed at 5 o'clock in the morning, wake up at midday every day of his life, and drink and take drugs. I'm not saying take drugs, but you can drinking is knowledge, and then just do what they want. I couldn't afford to. I don't drink and I don't take drugs, luckily, but I couldn't afford to do it if I did. After a couple of years, I had no money left, which is not a bad thing. It helped me. It helped me move on with my life. It helped me, and ultimately put me where I am today.
Yeah, because it's a different kind of struggle, isn't it? You make it.
Depressing, isn't it?
No. But no, it's great, because what we want to do, there's a lot of channels out there that's going to talk about the fight and fight with something, but we want our audience to understand the whole process. The fight's the easy part. Can we agree on that? Fight night's the easy part. The process before fight night.
Well, what I explain to people, this I said, I said in school you can have a fight with somebody in the classroom, or waiting to fight them after the school. You're looking at the clock, aren't you? That's what it's like boxing.
Imagine waiting 3 months. You know what I mean?
So imagine 3 or 4 months preparing to go and fight that person. That's what it's like. And all right. I say, and you walk in the playground towards that person. That's what it's like.
And you can't even do it.
I explain. That's what it's like. Well, it's like that, isn't it? Because you look at the clock every time. I'm fighting tomorrow. I'm on weight.
But you know what? It's like people do white collar boxing now, and things like that. it's a bucket list for people to try it, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's like jumping off an airplane. You know what I mean? I mean, the fear factor of doing that. I literally poo myself. Once you've done it, I would imagine like the buzz.
Yeah,
what I just did. And I think contact sports, boxing especially, is that for a lot of people. That's why they do this white collar box. It's not, they don't want to be fighters, they just want to experience it for once in their life, what it feels like to do that ring walk and
have that buzz, we've had.
But he was good for me, because, so long story very short, I go down to Sheffield when I'm 17, kickboxing career, I had hundreds of fights. Meet Brendan, you're not going amateur, you're going straight pro. Battled with Brendan for 3 or 4 years. No. We argued because I just wouldn't do it. I wanted an amateur career. He didn't want me to do it. He fell out with Naz. I left. I then go to train with Howard Rainey. Howard Rainey said, you're not going amateur, you need to go pro, because you're standing everyone on head in the gym, so you're ready, you're going pro. Get ready for the fight. Him and Dennis Hobson fall out the week before a fight, and I go with the trainer, not the promoter, because I'm with him every day.
Yeah, of course.
Then I go through a load more drama, and then long story short, I get to 28, and I'm like, well, this isn't going to work. I've just wasted a better part of 11 years of my life to do that, and then I won't be on ever on BoxRec, and then I tried to commit suicide twice because of like, I've done everything, I've sparred with everyone, I've trained with 8 world champions, I ain't got there. He was good though, because when he come into my life,
we passed each other with boxing, swapped rooms. I went to Sheffield, he went to Manchester.
Yeah, we crossed over on the same week.
Same pathway.
So I was in Sheffield, and when I went to train in Manchester around Billy Graham, we met one time, and he goes, I'm going to Sheffield, I'm going to Manchester, and then years later we figured out he took my room in Sheffield and I took his room in Manchester. Right? It's crazy, right? But then he was good for me because he made me understand, first of all, you walked out in front of a crowd. I walked out in front of 10,000 people several times when I was a kickboxer, got a knee to head, and he made me understand it's the same thing. You're still being out, you still got hit. Do you understand what I mean? You're still going through the same process, but it was hard for me because it was like, I've put so much energy and all that into it, and sparring with some higher level champions off camera and doing so well didn't help me.
Do you know what I tell kids now? Like, and I mean, see, 28, you're a baby. You don't realise at the time. You got the whole life. You got more of your life ahead of you than you had the passed you by. Hopefully. And but like, I say, to chase a dream in your 20s is a gift. I mean, you might not make it, and the chances are you won't make it. The chances are for everything you're not going to make it.
1%.
I mean, it's just, because it's not just having the ability, especially just talk boxing, that's all I know. It's not just having the ability, it's luck. Luck's the biggest factor in making anything. In boxing, luck's the biggest factor. You've got to have all skill and dedication, application, all that other stuff, but without luck as well. Who's around at the right time, someone looks at you a different way, you get on a show, you just get on the right show.
I know what you're saying.
Just the kind of climate of the sport, and all the rest of it. Just know, all luck's the biggest factor, but to chase a dream is a gift. And you have to look at it like that. I go, listen, I had a go. Even if you didn't get a certain pro, you didn't get the fight, but you chased it for a while. You tried to do it, it didn't work out for you. And so I take your story, and I think my story's not as bad anymore. I think me winning a world title and then not being able to defend it because I had a brain scan problem. I'm 23, I got the world on my feet, and all of a sudden I'm told I can't fight again. I mean, it was depressing.
You won a world title, that's an achievement.
No, that's what I'm saying. No, but then once you win it, you want more. We're greedy people, aren't we? We're greedy by nature. And
ambitious. It's ambition, isn't it?
There's nothing wrong with that, I don't think, to an extent. But I mean, I do your story, and I go, well, look, and fucking hell, I'm lucky I got the opportunity to step into it and to fight it, to do that. And you got to look at yours. I didn't do it as a professional boxer, but I got to do it as a kickboxer, and other people don't get the opportunity to do that. Out there, whether it be fear to walk in the gym, not having parental encouragement, whatever it may be that helps you. Take a leap of faith. Just to do it on your own esteem is almost impossible. You need other people around you. And I was lucky that I grew up in a really shitty area. I mean, not a shitty area. I love where I'm from.
Tough.
Economically deprived area. But I had a good family unit. My dad,
So
my mum
important.
stayed together. They stayed together longer than they should have for us. So my grandparents were fantastic, and also I'm from a diverse area. So my grandfather's from the Yemen. I'm not even. No, it's not like.
I didn't know that.
That's my big.
Did Naz catch on to that?
No, I never. I told Naz no, but I never. But my grandfather's funny. But Cardiff got a big Yemeni population.
Wow.
Community, not population, community, because Cardiff was a big dock, so a lot of them. I think the Yafis came to Cardiff originally. Their parents, their grandparents came to Cardiff originally before they went up to Sheffield.
Wow.
Yeah, so I think so.
Naz will love that. We'll try and get down to.
I'm not even the best boxer from the Yemen. I'm not even the best boxer called Barry from the Yemen. Next to Kid Galahad.
He's called Barry as well. Why is Kid Galahad called Barry?
Barry.
I think BARI is. I think that's
the spelling of it.
Yeah, I think that's a Yemeni spelling. Yeah, I think or an Arabic spelling. I think. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm BARRY. I'm British.
Wow.
Yeah, my grandfather came over in late 40s, I think, early 50s.
Wow.
Late 40s it would have been,
And you haven't lost that Welsh accent. You've kept hold of it.
I've lived in London area in Surrey now, but I've lived in that sort of area for over 24 years.
Wow, you're doing good.
My accent's as strong as ever.
You working on that bit. I don't know what happened to my wife. My wife had an American accent, and then she came over here. Now she sounds like Yorkshire. All right, mate. How you doing, mate? Like, you do. I take it back out. You see.
Sorry about that. I love the TV gimmick. For the public to look like someone's fighting for something and winning something. So like the intercontinentals, international belts, whatever they're called.
You got the European WBO, European IBF now.
They just got rid of quality 10-round fights. That's all they got rid of.
Yeah.
And you can win them by boxing journeyman, by the way.
Yeah.
So they're not always quality fights.
Yeah.
They're just a TV gimmick.
Yeah.
And I don't begrudge anyone from. I won one. And so I'm not moaning about it.
IBF you got right.
IBF Intercontinental thing, and then I boxed a guy who was European champion to defend it, so that was a good win. My best win actually. But I mean, so it can give you a platform for sure. But I mean, it devalues. More titles devalue what a title means, and then it dilutes that, and it ultimately dilutes the money. It has to. And you're still going to get the stars come through, get the big money, but ultimately boxing for a world title in the 80s. You made a lot of money from that. If you're a welterweight, I would argue the Kell Brook, the Sheffield Brook, Colin Jones, a Welsh Brook. Colin Jones boxed Donald Curry's third world title fight, but just a challenger at home in Birmingham, not quite at home, but in Birmingham. So the money they had to pay for Donald Curry to come over here obviously meant Colin Jones got less than he would have got. So when Kell Brook boxed Sean Porter, 2013, I'm guessing. So you're talking, that's almost 20 years. I bet you Colin Jones got more than Kell Brook.
Your old opponents gets more than you.
I bet you got a lot more than Kell Brook got for travelling to America to fight for the world title, than Colin Jones got for challenging for the world title in London against, at the time, the pound for pound number one on the planet, Donald Curry. And I bet you Colin Jones got more. Not with inflation, just a flat rate, more money, because it meant more then. And I'm not digging out Kell Brook was a great fight.
I know what you're saying.
That win's age better than most wins actually. But I mean, it's diluted it because there's more opportunities for people. And people like me, I earn a decent money, but I'm not meant to retire on. But fighting for a world title should set you up for life. I mean, not heavyweights. In the 80s, you got fighters who were getting like flyweights who didn't get no money and never got money. But so more titles, I would say. That don't always equate to more opportunities. It seems like they're more opportunities. I do agree. I understand saying it seems like the kids get more opportunities, but I'm not sure that's the right. And also
things are not always what they seem.
But also it takes away those 50-50 matches, because you can pick up a belt and you can go. Anthony Yard's a prime example. Anthony Yard turned out to be actually a really good fighter, but his route to boxing Sergey Kovalev was all that's wrong with boxing. He was engineered because he was a good-looking guy and a big puncher, but yet he took no risks. A great management, by the way, I would say that. No risk to get to number one in the world. No risks at all. Just blast everyone out there.
Pathway, yeah.
But that didn't. So when he came against Sergey Kovalev, he actually showed he had the minerals, but he had to find out at the highest level. That's stupid. You gotta have that test before.
Exactly. Every fight should be a little bit harder, right?
Not everyone, because boxing is such an intense sport. You need those journeymen; they're very important.
Yeah.
You need those learning fights.
Yeah.
But every second fight or every third fight should be a test.
Yeah.
It should be. You should have those tests. So those international belts, you go the international route. You can avoid those tests by defending your belt against. Almost journeyman type fighters. And that TV does that, and to market you it was to market him as this massive puncher who just knocked out everybody, which is almost true, by the way. I mean, he sort of like proved he was worthy of boxing for a world title. But I mean, others fall dramatically short because they go that route. So without those belts, you would get more 50-50 fights. So I'll go back to my career, which wasn't a stellar career, but I had domestically, I had a really hard career. My first fight was a guy who was 3-0 with 2 knockouts. That was my debut at 18. And then I had a journeyman in Miguel Matthews who was tough. Then I had Michael Devaney went to the Olympics for GB and ended up being British champion after I beat him. Then I had a guy who was 3-1 in my 4th fight. Then I had a journeyman. Then I had Neil Swain, who was undefeated when I'd be Commonwealth champion. So by the time I got to 10 fights, I think I boxed 4 people who were undefeated.
My pathway was a bit really difficult because some of my journeymen was a bit tough.
Yeah.
And my first one was 4 fights. My second one was 50 fights. He boxed Robin Reed.
Who was it?
Joe Catty, Rob Burton.
Yeah.
I boxed him my second fight. I won. And then my third fight got burned again. And he just built up, and then OJ Abrams with 4
Yeah,
fights.
it was a good fight.
So some people get easy journeymen to push them through and pick them, where certain people, like if you don't sell out tickets, you have to fight.
But the thing is, I would sell tickets. It was weird, but like the box at home, that was just how my path was taken. I don't regret any of it. I kept winning, and they were good tests for me. And it wasn't like I didn't have the toughest of upbringings. I'm not saying that, but I mean those tests. Like fast forward me 10 years time. And I'm boxing for an international title. I'm not boxing Neil Swain for a 6 rounder for no money, 2 undefeated kids. I'm not boxing Justin Murphy, who was like 9-0 and I was like 11-0. I'm not boxing him. That's for a belt. That was just a 10 rounder. That was. But it was a good development fight, a learning fight for both of us. It was a close fight in the end.
It's all about development, isn't it?
I think so. I think so. And not being afraid a loss doesn't define your career.
No.
Yeah, it helps you to move on and just carry on.
Going back to the Saudi thing and the involvement in general, and I don't want to be careful. I'm not like a propaganda machine because I'm working it all the time. But it's been we've seen fights we never seen before. We will never see. We've never seen Fury and Usyk because they wanted too much money. Certainly Fury wanted too much money. I understand that he's the A side. He's the big draw, and he wants to get what he feels is his market worth. But that fight doesn't happen without them. That 5v5, I was there the other week. What a card that was. We wouldn't see that in a million years.
No.
This card maybe there's a press conference next week. We should come down for Joshua.
25th, right?
Oh yeah.
And that's for that show in September. If what I hear is true, if the rumours, I don't know.
I know, I heard the same rumours.
If the rumours are true on what that card might be, it's too good a card. It's too stacked. Do you know what I mean? We're gonna get Bivol Biev. There's 2 guys who want too much money. There's no market value there because they can't. Because they're from when they're from originally. I know the one's based in the US, one's based in Canada now. But I mean, where they're from in Eastern Europe. There's no value there for commercially.
It's not sellable,
So they want millions, but we never get to see it. They never fight each other. So now they're going to, thanks to the money, the investment. If the money, and people go, they'll get bored and they'll stop. They might get bored and they might stop. I'm not saying it will, but just say it does for argument's sake. But we've had it. We had this though.
Let me ask you a question. This is more for them guys at home, and a question to you as well, right? So, let's say 2 guys are going to fight each other and they market it and they hype it up and all of this and that. Oh, I can't pick this one. Oh, Richard's fighting Chris Billam-Smith at the weekend. Who's going to win that fight? And then, let's say Richard wins it easy. It was marketed in such a way that it was going to be even right. But you get someone like Frazier Clark and Wardley, who literally went to death. Like, I was worried for them in that fight because there was nothing left at the end of the fight. They looked gassed. And now they're going to have a rematch. The reason them fighters, in my opinion, need to prepare well is that might be them done. Because when you get two really evenly matched guys, and you only, you got 4 wars in your career if you're lucky?
Yeah, but boxing's meant to be a short career. And it's meant to be a short career.
Yeah.
I think people having longer careers now.
Yeah.
And that's not a good thing.
No.
I mean, you shouldn't be in boxing longer than. If you have a 10-year career, you'll always get the anomaly like Bernard Hopkins who go for too long. I mean, they have a great career. They have, and some people can just go on longer. Some people are freaks of nature, but ultimately, you should be in and out in 10 years. Even that's too long. I feel it's a hard career. It should be short, but it should be intense. That's why you should have those learning fights to get you there quick as you can. And literally, but it used to be. But ironically, by the time you get to the world title, your best years are behind you.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Really up to that.
Yeah, that's what it used to be. So you get fighters that have 1 or 2 world title fights, and then they were done.
Yeah.
But then that money would be enough to set them up. That's what you hope for.
Yeah.
But like, so it's an intense, hard sport. It's a crazy sport. So wars like that, those fights should know. The Wardley and Clark should have happened. You look at it and you go, oh, it was such a hard fight that could have been for a bigger title. But that should have happened. There's the right place at the right time. They both got to their stages about different routes. So like Fraser should have boxed him in. No, there was a close fight. I thought Fraser just nicked it.
I thought they clearly
but
nicked it.
You couldn't argue it was that sort of fight. It was a really hard fight. And we want to see it again. And it'll take miles off the clock. It will. It'll take miles off the clock dramatically for them. And it might.
Do you think it's right for them to have a straight rematch or have a couple of fights between?
Well, the worry is, I think a nice easy fight for either one to get back in would be the ideal situation.
That's what I thought.
But especially in this climate, if they don't fight straight away, they might not fight again.
The fight was called Stale one in the Garden Zone.
People move on, don't they? And they just the people.
I hope that fight ends up being at Wembley.
You think? Yeah.
Oh yeah. If that goes on the card in September, it'd be fantastic. And that's again, I go back to that Saudi thing. It's like without their investment, without the money, and also to be fair, without their interest in the sport. That's more important. It's not just about money and investment. If you've got no interest in the sport, you just go, there's a load of money, do what you want with it. We've seen that before, and that hasn't worked out well. They're hands-on involved, and they're listening to us, boxing fans. We want to see this fight. They go, right, we'll get that fight. They want to see that. So let's be happy for that. And it might last forever. And it might last for 10 years, it might last for another 6 months. It might be finished after September. I don't know. I don't think it will. It's not going to. But I mean, let's just enjoy while it's there.
Exactly.
If it all finishes tomorrow, look what we've had in a short space of time. And I wouldn't say it's hurt. Sometimes you can get people who chuck loads of money in the sport, like say PBC. In America, they got involved. People like Lee Selby, he boxed Fernando Montiel. We got like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times more than he would have got if that would have been in the UK. But then all the guys involved in it first got all the big money, and then that money dispersed very quickly, and then all the ones then were getting no money. But someone benefited from it. The only potentially can happen if it's a short-lived thing is that once you get paid X amount, you won't go back down. So a few fighters won't take any less money. That's it. That's the worst case scenario. And this thing going, and people complain about being in Saudi Arabia, and I would say that the younger boxing fan has been spoiled thanks to Anthony Joshua, and then Tyson Fury. That big occasions have been based in the UK. Because when I was growing up, except for the odd fight now and again, I boxed on Ben and Eubank on Old Trafford. I boxed on that bill. So there was only 5 fights on that bill. Actually, they weren't huge bills back then. It was just huge fights. So but I mean, they were few and far between. I mean, big fights, any fight that you guys know, usually
America.
You'd have to go to London to get a fight. Usually, that's where all the money was. And then when a fighter made it, except for domestic clashes, a big fighter, even like a Frank Bruno who could sell out anywhere in the UK, had to go to America to box Mike Tyson twice. With all the big fights, you had to go to LA, you had to go to New York, then it was Vegas. That's why you had to go. You had to travel to the States. Not you just got to travel 6 hours. 2 hour time difference rather than thing.
Yeah.
And the crowds will get better. People complain about the crowd. The crowds for Fury Music was fantastic. The crowds for the 5v5 wasn't as big, of course, but it's a new sport in Saudi Arabia, so they'll learn and they'll get involved. And there's they have a professional boxing now from Saudi Arabia. There'll be more, I'm sure. And like the football, I think some of the people saying about the crowds being empty. I think they don't get loads of crowds. But I don't follow football, but I watched I watched 2 matches while I've been over there, and they've been in full stadiums.
Oh, Nasser.
So
maybe there was one reason. There was already when Ronaldo played.
Yeah, Nasser.
But I mean, I went there with the Ngannou fight, and I was in a restaurant, and it was the stadium was full. I'm not saying that's like all the time. I don't know, but I just mean people will get involved, but for boxing fans at home watching on TV, if you're getting to watch the fight, you're getting to watch the fight. And I don't want to be too much about. Listen, I don't want to upset anybody. That's the truth, because I want to keep working when I'm working, and I love my job. So I don't upset.
It's a process, right?
But I'm just being honest. I'm being genuinely honest. I love all the fights to be in Cardiff, where I'm from. I love all the fights to be in London. So we only got a 5-minute journey to go. That's the truth of it. But in reality, that never happened. We had a short time with Joshua where all the fights would come in the UK, but ultimately most fighters have to travel, and that's always going to be. You go where the money. Boxing goes where the money is.
Exactly.
And if the money ends up being in Thailand in 10 years' time, we'll all fly into Thailand. If it's Australia, we'll all take 2 flights to Australia. That's just where we'll go. That's how it is. And at the minute, it's Saudi Arabia, and as long as they keep pumping the money and we get to see the fights we're seeing, long may it continue.
I'm enjoying it.
So what about the atmosphere when you was there in that Saudi Arabia? Different atmosphere compared to the English atmosphere.
But you get,
it's new. They're new to it.
You have to get used to it.
But you get that in America. It's like you won't beat the British atmosphere. You cannot beat it. I mean, like I went to Spencer Crawford, right? Just showing off, because not many people went, and I went. But I went on my own actually, and I got work out there. Enough to pay for it, and I got to go to that. And once I know I got enough work to pay for the flight, everything else, I just thought if I get enough work to earn a few quid, I'm happy, and I did in the end. But the atmosphere was great. But it doesn't beat Leeds.
No.
It doesn't beat Leeds when Warren fights, or Capital versus Taylor, or Manchester when Hatton boxed, or Crawler, or anybody. It doesn't beat
O2 in London.
It doesn't beat O2 when Joshua fights. It doesn't beat it. It doesn't.
We have got the best crowd in the world.
We're unique when it comes to crowds in any sport.
The Saudis out to
you go to
the boxing and what to do. So I think later on.
I'm in Phoenix the end of the month for Bam Rodriguez versus Estrada. It's like my Christmas present.
Sonny's on that card as well.
But I'm a big fan of Bam. I love Bam. And Estrada's an all-time great already. So it's great. But like Phoenix is a really good fight. I've been there for 3 fights now. I mean, they're packed out. I mean, they come early. But it's a great atmosphere. But it's a family atmosphere, which is not a bad thing. But they go there with the kids. They're like 6 o'clock. They're all in there. I went there for John Ryder. The last time I was there with John Ryder when he boxed Munguia. It was packed up by 6 o'clock. It was unbelievable. Me and Andy Oladipo were working for the broadcast for the Zone. We were going, this is great. It's like a baseball game. It was like people eating hot dogs in the store. It was beautiful. But it's not the same intensity of there's only one Ricky Hatton and all that.
It's that little chance. Like I'm a Man United fan, and all season we hadn't had much to cheer about. But when you got the games, you wouldn't think it. The fans are still involved. They lost. We got lost 4-0, and the fans are still there at the end cheering their players on. Do you understand what I mean? Like,
so that's how it is, and so as long as it's a new sport in Saudi Arabia. I'm trying to sell the ass over here. It's a new sport. Then they'll get there, but I don't care about that. I'm a boxing fan. I want to see fights. I just want to see the fights, and we're going to get better every bit. We've had Tyson Fury versus Usyk. We've had some Mickey Mouse wins with Ngannou Fury and all that sort of stuff. But you know, we've seen Joshua growing confidence against Ngannou, by the way, which was a good build.
That was a good fight, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a good build actually. That was a really good build.
Yeah,
Yeah, we've seen Joseph Parker like literally poke his head out of the curtains.
Yeah.
I'm still here.
Yeah,
And more than that, like I'm maybe the most improved heavyweight on the planet. There was Chamberlain, the Nick Ball versus Ray Ford. What the fuck that was? I mean, we could have seen that anyway. Actually, that
Let's go through that, right? So you were out there, right? The 5v5. Do you expect Eddie to get washed out
No,
like that?
I did though. I was worried I was going to lose my job because there's DAZN. I work for DAZN, obviously the platform.
Yeah.
Great people to work for. I say this all the time. Don't sack me. But I think it was me and Ariel Hawani.
Yeah.
So we had about 10 of the guys who work for him.
Yeah.
And we were the only ones who picked Queensbury to win.
Yeah.
Now, I'm well aware that even though I work for DAZN, I work for Matchroom on the UK shows. Matchroom pay me.
Yeah.
Because they produce all the content in the UK.
Yeah.
And by the way, they're the loveliest people to work for.
Yeah.
But I'm working for them, but I don't work for them. I'm working for them as a freelancer. And I'm thinking, fuck, I haven't picked them to win. You do worry about things like that. No one puts you on no one says
It's your
anything.
opinion, don't it?
You do worry, you go, shit, you know. But I had to go with who I thought. I didn't think it'd be a whitewash like that.
No.
But do you know what though? They were all
Good fights though.
They were all competitive fights, so I don't know.
I'll be
The only
honest.
one I was strong on was Hamza Shiraz stopping Ammo Williams.
Yes.
I was really, me and Darren Backham go back and forth. He said, he won't stop Ammo because Ammo Williams is tough.
Ammo's a good fighter.
But I thought, because he's so tough, he'll overcommit and he'll get knocked out.
I thought Ammo is a really good fighter, but them physical advantages you have to overcome against him.
And Hamza understands his range. He punches, he understands his range. So he knows exactly where he is all the time. So being tall and being long arm can be a hindrance. Because it takes your punch has got to come back. It takes longer to come back. You end up standing too tall. You end up being a big target to hit. But he adjusts his feet right. He punches his uppercuts nice and long. He knows where he is at all times.
He knows what he's doing. His timing's there as well. It'd be very hard to beat because he understands how to use his physical advantages. I didn't think personally. I thought that Ball didn't win the fight.
No, I had Ford by 1 round.
Yeah, I am like that.
But again, it was such a close fight.
It wasn't a robbery or anything.
No, I don't think it was robbery. I think in a close fight like that, you can't complain. I don't think. And so I thought Ford just did enough, but not enough to go. Come on, it wasn't like that. I thought. I was happy for Nick Ball.
It's because we felt he won a couple of months back. They definitely needs to be rematched with them. Wilder done. In my opinion, he's done.
Yeah, he's done. I didn't think he'd win. Either.
That's a fight. You can't give 5 stones away in a fight.
It's not so much that, you just know, once with a fighter like him, who's a very emotional fighter. Once your confidence is gone, you're done. And because he doesn't have. People say, when I say he doesn't have great boxing ability, he doesn't. People say you can't win an Olympic medal if you don't. You can as a super heavyweight.
Power
is more important than anything. In that weight. But he threw with so much conviction that the punches that he missed with were a weapon in itself. Because you couldn't counter. Remember Eubank used to throw that big overhand right, Chris Eubank senior? He'd miss all the time. He threw it. That was a defensive move. That was to back you up. He threw it to get a rest. I think he threw it to make you move away from it. And like, because you wouldn't move on to it, because if that hits me, that knocks me out. It made you back up and retreat, made you regroup. He did it for that reason. And for Wilder, that wasn't his thought process. He was just inaccurate. But he would throw with so much vigour, and because he was so powerful, that you would just your only option was to back away.
Because you hear.
But also, he believed every punch he threw he could knock you out with. So he was just as dangerous coming back as he was going forward. He knocked loads of people out coming back, moving back. But he lost the confidence. You could see it in the park if I drained from him.
Yeah.
And it might be his mindset.
Just disheartened him, that's all.
Yeah, too much money, too much.
I'd say what
Either that ayahuasca thing, didn't he? He was going to find himself, which is great for your personal development. But as a boxer, when you need to be an angry fighter, that's the last thing you need to do. Is find yourself.
We've been around it, so like I was around Naz, and I would tell you that people going about Naz's power. Naz had ridiculous power, by the way. Like
I was a kid. The schoolboys in Derby, not stopping people. Gloves are bigger than it. I mean, he was always a weight below me, Naz. I thought, he's a boxer maker. Anthony Aubrey was a really good boxer from Wales, and I think he got him like twice in the British schoolboys. I think, and Anthony Aubrey's a really good, better than me, really good fighter. And I was thinking, just so unlucky, man. Just gets Naz every time. Like,
I seen Naz in the gym when he was just doing his thing. So much better than you'd ever see him on fight night. Relaxed, this, that, and the other. Big middleweights, destroying them in sparring. Like they're coming out. They wanted done body spine, by the way. They're coming out and they look broken. He smashed them to pieces. But it was the power with the combinations, with the movement, which did it, and then it became just look for the big shot. And Mike Tyson became the same way. It was the whole package of his head movement, and being elusive, being able to hit, and that's
what you don't see the shots to knock you out.
Exactly.
Naz I've always thought about Naz was fast and he had power and speed and all the other stuff to go with it, but he would slow you down. Like he was slow. There you go. Thanks, Naz. But Naz would slow you down because he'd hit you so hard that you would think, shit, I gotta get it right. I gotta get it right. And then you know you can't afford to make a mistake. With that, you tense up. And when you tense up, all your muscle constrict, as you realise better than I do. You end up doing this for your punches, so it slows you down. You're trying to get faster, but you're so like nervous about not making a mistake. So trying to focus too much, so you tense up. You slow you down. I mean, he did it with Steve Robinson. I love Steve Robinson, and I was there that night. I was a floater that night. I was in my people know what floater is. A guy who has an opponent, but doesn't have a place on the bill. So like I was So I was in my kit all night. It was raining, so I had carrier bags tied around my boxing boots and my dressing going on. I was back then. I used to Vaseline you up back then, didn't I was covered in Vaseline, which is horrible.
Oh, you're on next to me, and again warmed up.
But I almost got on just before Naz, and then it started to rain, and they put Nicky Piper on a bit earlier than they were meant to for the Commonwealth title. I think it was at the time.
Yeah, that's right.
But to see Naz like destroy Steve Robinson that night, he just stopped him from throwing punches by going out there, made him feel his power really early. Made him miss, as he did better than anybody. Made him feel his power early, and then Steve just went.
He caught. I'll show you off camera. Naz has this secret. I'm not going to say it on camera. He has this secret thing that he does, and he does it early. I'll show you off camera. And once he's done that a couple of times to his opponent, they don't know what's going on. They're like, I don't know, what did I get hit with? And they start to, he angles him in a certain way for a certain shot, and like, it starts to, I know because being first hand, being in the gym, seeing all this, it's like a fly. You get hit and you can see the expression on the person's face, like, what they get with. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like, like with the flies moving around like that, he makes you do that, and then but you're getting hit at the same time, and then you're seeing stars, and it's like, oh, I better close up. But he's nasty, man. That people don't understand, he's vindictive.
That's the thing, and that's the thing with the aggression. I mean, that's the thing with the Wilder thing, that nastiness. Once that went from him, then you're not throwing the punches the same way. You're not throwing the punches the same way.
Naz would be like, if he was in there with his brother, you'd think it was someone who's done something to his parents. Like, you understand, the facial expression is nasty.
I never had a nasty. I couldn't punch. I was nasty. I mean, every trainer I've been with would tell you I could punch. Everyone could punch. I mean, they all go, you start stopping people. Then I get in the ring, I just wasn't. I didn't go in there like that. I mean, boxing was my release from life. Growing up I had a great childhood growing up, but it was relatively tough. And in the street, I was quite aggressive, ironically, which is weird. But I mean, come the ring, that was my release from my life. And I just treated it as a sport. I loved it, and I didn't care about hurting people. I just wanted to win. I didn't care about. I just wanted to compete.
No, I get it.
I was never scared of losing. I just wanted to compete. I lived it. And it was like, it was almost like, I'm not worried about what's going on outside the ring now.
Just focus on this.
This is my safe place. I had no problems in my life. I'm making I was like a troubled kid. But I mean, it was just that was just my escape route, my little fantasy land.
It's weird how serene it can be as well, right? It can be serene.
But some people use their life outside the ring and take that anger and use it as a driving force to release it in a different way.
That's what I used it for.
Yeah.
It's like, you see me now, I'm smiling. But when I go in the ring, it's like...
He was opposite,
I was opposite. I was like...
Alter ego.
I'm not talking to him, ignoring him. I got an attitude with you. But afterwards, I'll be smiling with them. They were like, why are you like that? I said, you know what it is? You don't understand. There's a lot going on in my life, so I take it out on that person.
It's weird,
and
isn't it?
people talking about me.
People are different. I'm more like you. Like I didn't take it all that serious. You understand? But some people, like Naz, was like laughing and joking outside the ring, and then in the ring, flipped the other way. I was the opposite.
But you need it. I think you need to learn. I should have learned it. We all need to learn how to. You need to be it. Even if you're not a come forward fighter, you need to be that. Because like say you ever fight in the streets. Like, I don't fight in the street. I'm not a fighter, but when I have, well, I mean, like you were nothing to me.
There's no empathy.
I don't care about you. Because you all like, because I'm little, I got small man syndrome. I have. I'm not denying it. I know I have. You're only picking on me because I'm small. So that's I would put that straight in my head. If I'm 6 foot, you're not talking to me like that. I'm 6 foot, you're not looking at me like that. You're not picking on me. You're picking on me because I'm little. And I'm not having that. I'd rather slip my throat. I'd have that in my head. And then by the time I come to something would happen, I'd be like, Grah! I'd be up for it. But in the ring, I was like.
You saw the fighter there, didn't you? You see that fighter come out there?
I mean, but because in the ring it was safe because there's someone. I took it seriously in the ring and I lived there and it meant everything to me. But I mean, and I would do everything I could to win a fight. But I mean, I didn't have that because it was someone that protects you. There's a referee. There's people there in the street. It's not that way. It's dangerous, isn't it? There's no. If you grab me, I'm a little. I'm done. It's the end of me. Unless I'm going to poke your eye out or something like that, I'm finished tonight. So like I have to. If I have to throw a punch, I have to mean it. I have to throw with everything. And the same goes. That's with Wilder. When he throws a punch, if he doesn't mean it, it's just a long arm coming out to do nothing. Because he's not 19 stone. He's 14 stone. 15 stone. It's different. So when he threw like he was, when he threw it like he was trying to get rid of it, if he only threw it with like. Every problem in the world is on the end of this fucking fist. And he threw it that way. Then,
because you remember how he started, it was because of his daughter. His daughter his daughter, they couldn't afford the medical bills or anything. And he only started fighting. He was doing street fighting, paid street fighting. And he got into the boxing because he can earn more money doing this in boxing. And every time I went in there, it was like, I need to look after my daughter. And then now the daughter's looked after.
So we've massively digressed from it all, but yeah, I think he's finished now. But he's had a great career. He's the heavy champion of the world. At the time, he was the most fearsome puncher, one of the most fearsome punchers in history. That's what he'll go down on record as. Whether we like
most defensives.
I don't look into that too much because of how defences work out. I think. But on paper, that's how it is. Most defences.
I agree.
And also, he was the most feared heavyweight of his time. That's all. And we're not going to get to see it now. No. We don't want to see it now.
No, whatever happened.
Listen, but boxing moves and lives on. Look at Joshua. He was finished. Now look at him. He's come back now, and he's looking like the Joshua we once saw, fell in love with. I mean, which is great. By the way, a good Joshua is good for the sport.
I think he looks better than when he first started.
Yeah, maybe.
Learn a lot.
Yeah, I think we have to just. I think he looked great. I think we have, and the most important thing with his last two fights, not who he fought, is how he performed. The belief in himself. Because the Ngannou thing, we don't remember who he was. He was a novice. I know that novice just took the best fighter on the planet at the time in that division, Tyson Fury. At that time, we all thought he was, and he struggled. He made him struggle, but I think ultimately he was still a guy who's only had one fight. So, but the punch, but he threw with conviction. And when he throws with conviction, when he throws the belief there. When he throws with no fear of getting caught, that was the difference. He used to throw before, even when he got caught, he thought, if I land first, you're done. When you throw with that mindset, you're committing to your shot. The game with Wilder, you commit to your punches. Heavyweights have to commit to their punches more than any other weight, because that one punch could be the finishing fight, and also. I'm gonna
say something that's funny.
They might get caught as well.
I'm gonna say something that's funny, right? 100%, he can hit harder than me. But I always told him, if he gets in the ring with me, he's not gonna land a shot on me. I know for a fact. I know for a fact he's not landing a shot on me, right? They called me the Shadow for a reason, right? Right. Yesterday was funny though. They had that punch bag machine up when he's young. I'm gonna hit harder than this and the other. Who do you think got the hardest punch?
Yeah, he did.
He had Spencer Fear, he had them all for Ivan Smoke up, boom, speed, power, twist through the hip.
That ball.
There's a trick to it.
There's a trick to it now. There's a trick
to knocking people out, isn't it?
And the trick to knocking someone out, it don't matter how hard you hit. If you can't hit me, you can't hurt me.
Yeah. Listen, if I hit you, you just.
That's if you can hit me, though.
But I'm more like you, I am. But I would say one thing: each just got to get it right once.
Yeah.
You got to get it right every second of every round.
That's right.
But people say that to me though, because I was like that. Especially I was a small super featherweight.
Yeah.
I wasn't a super featherweight, even though I won a world title that weight. I was never that weight ever.
Yeah.
And so ironically, when I was boxing for world titles, I never struggled to make the weight. It was easy for me. Like I was a super bantamweight, really. That's the truth.
If I finished my career cruiserweight, I was a light middleweight.
You started light middleweight.
That's just lazy.
You liked his yard food.
What I mean is they look at me and just go, "You can't run forever," and I would go, "You fucking watch. You watch this now." And like I mean, I never ran. The movement is like good. Feet at everything. Feet at everything in boxing. More important than punches.
And that's what I knew I had. I've still got to know.
I mean, not just for moving, or not for dancing. Look at
positioning.
Look at Golovkin with his feet. Usyk with his feet as a cruiser. How he put you under pressure with his feet. Feet are and also to set yourself for punches.
My friends watch me, non-boxing friends. I don't really watch boxing too much, but when they do, they find it fascinating because it's on the TV and I'm like that. I'm not looking at any upper body movement, just look at the feet. Because Howard Rainey and Brendan Ingle, that's what you'd learn from the guys' footwork. Putting your feet in the right position. You can't land a shot unless you're in the right position, attacking and defense. I'm all about footwork and position and stopping people when I'm training them like your feet are actually. I do it with Dean actually then. Dean wants to come in and get on the pad. I'm like, Dean, no, we're going to do the footwork drill. This is how it is, you know what I mean?
I say footwork, and I also say that there's like draw a line in a semicircle, and that's your workspace. If you can dominate that semicircle on the body, I can't see you don't win the fight. I mean that you see. I talk about Bam Rodriguez. He always spins from the target. Like pivot is my favorite word. I'm trying to say that. I say it too much, but that pivot. But using that semicircle on the body, because what I say quite often to people in commentary as well that. It's what you do after the punch is almost as important as the punch itself.
Because punch from back at you.
That's right. Yes, you got to punch. Also, but you got to get it right though. I would do it. I would throw my punches, and by the time it was landing, I'm already thinking about the exit route.
I understand.
So you got to get the purchase of the shot, and then use that to spin off or move around.
What Howard used to do, so I still think Howard's the best trainer that I ever worked with, even better than Brendan Ingle. Howard do some, and ask Spencer Oliver this, because Spencer Oliver come down one time when I was there. Howard would make you do things like, and I'm with Clinton Woods, right? And he'd put me in a balsa ball in the centre of the ring, and so I'm the same height as Clinton Woods.
You don't get enough credit, do you, Clinton Woods, by the way?
No, Clinton Woods is awesome, right? And he's quiet though. He's a quiet guy. Clinton. He doesn't like the limelight. We see him quite regularly. So we'd have me doing a whole round of sparring on a balsa ball. All right. Then he'd take me off the balsa ball and put Clinton on it. Then he'd have me on two, and I can't believe I could do it. I'd love to find video footage. When I got mastered the balsa ball, he put me on two bowling balls. And it sounds crazy, right? And two bowling balls, and I just said the same thing. And he goes, "No, trust me." And then I'm moving the balls, and I'm moving them away, and I'm being able to move my feet on bowling balls. Then he said, then he'd have this net that would come down in 12 grids, and he'd make a spar in the grids. So if you move, you got to do it, and you got to move in the grids, and he'd make a spar that way. Then he'd get to a stage where he says, "Right, I'm going to put you in the corner. I'm going to let that person touch a couple of times and blindfold me. That person's going to relax and then do blindfolded. Then it says, right, after you've done 12 rounds, you do that for first 6 messing about. All right, now do 6 rounds of normal sparring. You understand what I mean? Overemphasizing movements. And it's crazy, sounds crazy, but what he was doing is he was trying to like make you understand your senses, being in touch with your hearing and your touching and like relying on hearing. And you see Floyd move. He's not relying just on sight, he's relying on feeling and touch and all sorts.
Anticipation is the trait of every great sportsman.
Yeah.
Like you don't see it before it happens, but you just know that's going to happen next.
Yeah.
You can read the room.
Yeah.
You can read the situation. You can just read so that you anticipate what's going to happen next because you almost always get it right. Not always. I mean. That anticipation factor is a trait of every great sportsman.
Brendan used to have a saying in the gym, and he used to stop the gym all the time, like a sergeant major. You'd be doing what you're doing. Every 60 seconds to come out of the court, but his major court he said, stop, and everyone would stop. And there'd be hundreds of people in the gym when he's doing it, and he goes, tell me your 5 senses, and all of us, even Johnny was in the gym, all on cue, seeing, hearing, touch, taste, smell. I can't hear you. Seeing, hearing, touch, taste, smell. What's your 6th sense? Anticipate what your opponent's going to think and do, and make sure you do it before him. Say it again, and he'll be drilling in. The guy was 30 years ahead of his time. For what we know now and how things are. Howard and Brendan was ahead of the time. They understood things. Understand what I mean? Like preparation, understanding how it all works mentally, emotionally, physically, and how it all comes together.
Confidence as well.
Giving you confidence, getting you dressed.
Confidence is the biggest thing.
You do things like you get you dressed up. He says, I want you to wear your best suit. I'm taking you somewhere special, right? And then he takes you down to Meadow Hall in a suit. He's already arranged with some at Meadow Hall for a microphone to be there in the middle of Meadow Hall, and he goes, you're going to do so well, you're dressed up smart. Sing as a rainbow. And he'd have you in friggin' Meadow Hall singing, I can sing a rainbow. In front of all these people.
Even that me do that.
When I first come.
But he did that with everyone, Nas, Johnny and everyone, right? And he did it to make you like, not take it so serious. Do you understand what I mean? Like, have you rolling around in your suit and everything so that when you fought, do you know what I mean? You don't care about it. And that's why Nas was the fighter that he was. Because he did all that type of stuff. You know what I mean?
Having a thick skin in boxing, in any facet of the sport, whether you're boxing, commentating, promoting, interviewing, whatever, having a thick skin is a prerequisite, I think. I mean, I struggle with it, like they do, especially social media, but like, you've got to have a thick skin because like, people will just ignore you. It's like, can I grab you? And then people just go, you just got to like not let it affect you, and like it's like it.
I do.
And boxing as well, you can't let things affect you. Like people say about you, people like, oh, you're gonna get knocked out, or you're shit, or you can't box, you can't punch, and all this stuff. I used to say, you're not gonna make it, you can't punch, and I'm like, okay, we'll see.
That frightens me now. That's what I'm talking about when I go in the ring. People saying that and saying stuff like that. And when I go in the ring, and just,
like when we're starting to get a little bit now, which I quite find funny, because we're my fitness businesses, especially on Facebook, because I've got 120,000 followers on Facebook. Like when you start getting the negative comments, you're doing something right. And we're starting the first time this week. We're starting to get it from this. It's quite funny, and we're getting it from people, no names. We're getting it from ex-fighters, and like and you just have to just.
It's difficult, and like
that's how you're going to get it. I've even explained to John Wells boxing. You got haters, so we're going to get it now. So they judge it. We're doing something good.
It's not always hate. Some people just disagree with you. Some people just think you made a mistake here. I get it all the time in the commentary. I get loads of great comments saying I'm really good, and some people say I'm really shit. And it'd be on the same show, on the same night, in the same fight. So some people don't like your voice. Some people don't like the way you look. Some people can't understand what I'm saying. Some people just love what I say. It is what it is, isn't it? I don't know. Like, you just do the best you can do, and hope that more people like it than people dislike it.
100%. Listen, we don't want to take too much of your time. We could talk all day long, right? But we know you got to get off. We've got to get off to the press conference as well. We're going to finish on the game. All right. The winner stays in. All right. The winner stays in. And you can't just Some people are thinking about Calabria. You're just gonna say them instead, right? But I'm gonna choose one. Here we go. I got a good one for you. I'm gonna do Welsh fighters.
Okay.
Right, the winner stays in. Obviously, the different divisions and all the rest of it, but the winner stays in. Imagine they're all the same weight. All right.
Yeah.
And the greatest Welsh fighter in history for you, Tommy Farr v Enzo Maccarinelli.
Yes.
Who?
Yeah.
Yeah, who?
So Tommy Farr.
Tommy Farr.
Tommy Farr.
Okay.
Tommy Farr. Tommy Farr.
Fucking batter me is.
Yeah. So, hello Enzo. Tommy Farr v Robin Regan. Robbie gave us some entertaining fights in the day,
I
didn't he?
love Robbie. I've sparred with Robbie loads of times. No. Robbie.
Robbie Regan. Okay. Robbie Regan v Percy Jones.
Oh, this is impossible to judge because
Just who is the greatest Welsh fighter of all time?
Percy Jones is our first world champion, see, so
Yeah.
we have to give him that credit. But I've got no footage of Percy Jones. I don't know how good he is. So on that basis alone, I still have to stick with Robbie.
Okay, cool. Robbie Regan v Nathan Cleverly.
Oh, Robbie Regan.
Robbie Regan v Jimmy Wild.
Jimmy Wild.
Jimmy Wild v Steve Robinson.
Jimmy Wild. I love Steve, but Jimmy Wild.
Yeah.
Jimmy Wild v
I said about Percy Jones. I'm not saying the same about Jimmy Wild, am I? But
yeah.
I mean, I'm saying like they're not good fighters. Steve Robinson and these.
Yeah. No, they are. They're good. Jimmy Wild v Steve Robinson.
Didn't have it.
What?
Done that.
Right. So Wild still, right?
Oh, yeah, Wild. Jimmy Wild.
Wild still in it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Jimmy Wild v Joe Calzaghe. You knew it was coming, right? You was judging it all the way through. You knew it was coming.
I know. Oh man. Fuck it, Jimmy Wild.
Jimmy Wild.
Yeah, fuck it, Jimmy Wild.
Joe.
I know.
All right, Jimmy Wild v Lastly. We don't want any humility v Barry Jones.
For fuck's sake. He wouldn't have the punch on me, would he? Jimmy Wild's the greatest fighter of all time. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You've heard it first. Jimmy Wild is the greatest.
You can't say that because he was a guy boxing above his weight.
Yeah.
By the way, knocking every fucker out. I mean, boxing's changed all the time. And Joe Calzaghe is my favourite he's my favourite fighter of all time, Joe Calzaghe.
Yeah.
And I love Joe.
I love Joe too.
And I lived through Joe a lot of my life because watching him in Vegas was one of the proudest moments of my career. Because it wasn't even my career, there you go. Because that was the closest I was going to get, someone who I knew. And like, you know, he's had his name in lights in Vegas, and he shared it with me, you know. Like I'd go in his room with him all the time, and the after party, you know, the after party, he's rung me up, he's going, "Where the fuck are you?" So I'm downstairs. I had about 10 other people with me, and I thought I can't take them all up there, so I didn't go up there. I'm like, "I'll stick with people I'm with. It's fine. I'll speak to him like the next day." And he's like, "Where are you? Come here, like come and see like some biggest night of my life, and I want you to come and enjoy it." Yeah, so it was just so you know. And same with New York, and I know it was the Roy Jones fight, but still, and watching him against Kessler was just like just amazing, like amazing. I know going up to Manchester watching. I was at the Gods watching him in Manchester against Jeff Lacey, and all the time. And talk about that, he's another guy that Joe never. I don't think to this day, Joe never showed how good he was. Joe could have been better than what he was.
I believe that. I believe that.
Joe was fucking brilliant.
I looked at Joe's body now as me as a nutritionist. Look at Joe's body and I think if Joe would have got a little bit more help in certain areas, he would have been.
Mate, he was struggling
special.
for weight after he boxed Branko Sobat.
Yeah.
His first defence. It was February '98.
Yeah.
He was in the sauna making weight for that fight. That's so fucking, and all the years later, '98 that was. You know, he's struggling to make that weight at that fucking point in his career, and ever since, how he continued with longevity, I'll never know to this day. He's just a great athlete. Just an
100%.
just an all-time great athlete. Just someone who just didn't understand he's one of those guys. They get my fucking nerves. I can't stand people like Joe. I love him, but I can't stand people like him. They don't know how they do it. They just do it. Joe can train anyone to fucking fight. I don't believe. He knows a lot about boxing. Knows more than I know about boxing. But I mean,
it's his ability.
He just could do it. Fucking wanker.
That's what I mean. Now,
so he just but by the way though, with that though, no one trained harder than him. No one run more than him. No, he dedicated his life to it. I mean, they risked his childhood, his social development. It was risked to make him who he was, and it worked out in the end. He's a fucking great guy, and he's a great fighter, and everything else. But I mean, a shitload of money, which is more important. I'm glad that happened, but he just fucking did what he did. I used to say to him, like, I used to go, fuck, if you had my, if you had my boxing brain, I used to say, you fucking laugh at me. I'm not guy, like, you would, like, if I get fucking a tenth of your ability, with what I know, what I think I know, I would just be 10 times more better fighter, just having a tenth of his ability. He just goes through the repertoire of his fucking skills. It would work all the time.
Let me ask you something. I'll be funny now, yeah? No disrespect. If you were the same way as Joe, and you two would fight, how would the outcome?
That was the last question.
Okay,
I want to say it again.
Yeah, I don't beat Joe Calzaghe, do I? In a million fucking years. Like, I think we're on totally different levels. Just because we're world champions, especially now since fucking the mid '90s, really, which is my era. From then, being a world champion doesn't always make you world class. And that's just a fact, and that I was borderline that. That's the truth. I'm happy to say I'm proud of what I did. You know, in a different climate. Let me give you an example. I say this all the time, and I'll say it now. The ex-boxing associations, Wales have usually at September they go to the Taftswell, just like outside Cardiff, and they have like a little luncheon thing on a Sunday, and they're sort of dispersed since the pandemic, but it used to be all the time. And loads of people would turn up. Calzaghe would never turn up, but I mean, like, you get like myself, Robbie Regan, Lee Selby, Robbie Regan, Gavin Rees, Steve Robinson, Enzo McNally sometimes turn up. Nathan Cleverly turn up once. All world champions, all good fighters. So at the end, like at some point of the night, we all get to go on the stage. You know, to celebrate our world champions. And there's some really good fighters there. You know, there's me and some other good fighters, and we're all getting clapped away. It's great. And the best fighter in the room is sat in the audience. The best fighter by a big way is sat in the audience because he was boxing in the 80s, not the 90s. And that's fucking Colin Jones. Because if he was boxing 7 years later, he's up on the stage with us as the best fighter. By the way, with 3 world titles, probably. You know, that's just so. You know, it's not our fault, and we're all good fighters. And I'm not saying the others win the 1 world titles in different eras. Most of them fucking wouldn't have. I certainly wouldn't have. I fucking tell you that guarantee. I mean, but then maybe they would have won more if they were boxing 10 years later. But you only fight who you can fight them on your time.
Exactly.
But so I don't blame anyone for that, except for the sport itself. But I mean, that's just a prime example of why if me and Joe Calzaghe were the box, it's night and fucking day. I would have done my best. I would have put a good account of myself. But ultimately, at some point in the fight, he just fucking hits me so many punches. I don't know where I am. I can't say I beat him in speed, power, even if they're the same weight. I mean, I took a good shot, and he's gonna have to bash me up to beat me. But he'll fucking bash me up.
The thing with Joe as well, he had that nastiness. He looked like a pretty guy. He looked like so right, but he was nasty in the ring.
And his work ethic. He's so fit. He'd throw punches like at my weight.
Volume.
He'd throw more punches than me. I throw 1,000 punches a fight quite often. Like he would be that. Fuck, like. For the super middleweight.
He doesn't let me leave you alone, would he?
It's just ridiculous, isn't it? He has no power. People overrate power. If you win a fight, I mean, power is great. If you don't keep winning fights, winning. However you win, you win. At the end of the career, if you're undefeated because you just threw more punches than everyone else and beat them, All right, marketability means if you can punch, you're going to sell more tickets and earn more money ultimately if you keep winning. But I mean, everyone loves knocking people out sexy, isn't it? That's what makes you big bucks.
Yeah.
But I mean, for what he did, and by the way, his hands were fucked for the last at least 8 years of his career.
That was Nas.
His work on his feet.
Yeah.
Nas was the same way. That's why Nas had to get out.
Yeah,
because
but
his
I
hands.
tell them all the time. They say, "Oh, people always go since when Barrero fucking."
No, it's not to do with that.
His fucking hands like that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
Joe's left hand. Joe's left hand's like that. No, to this day.
Yeah.
And,
Because you're just breaking his hands every time. Guys, I can guarantee you this won't be the last time we speak to Bobby. As you can see, we forgot the cameras on and we just chatted. Please keep on watching what we're doing. We're going to get more and more people on the podcast that you want to hear from. Don't forget to like, share and comment.
Don't forget to subscribe and tell a friend.
Hit the notification button so you get the notification.
And we're here.
And we out.
13th and the final round. Hit them up, man. That's it.
Life is what it is, but you can't change it. If something's not broken, don't get that shit. 'Cause people cry, people lie, people place that sleep, people place my